All right, guys, get ready to join us on RxMuscle Iron Debate. Do not miss this one.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
Welcome back to a special edition Iron Debate. I think you're going to enjoy today's topic. It is pretty much ChatGPT. Is it a good judge? Is it not a judge at all? Will it replace judging one day? And joining me today from Muscle Discord is Matt Sinterang, and this is our first time really talking. What's up, Matt?
What's up, Dave, man? It's good. Finally on your show. It's, you are the OG. Okay, you're the OG of doing the bodybuilding news and reporting, and so I've been just doing it a couple of years. So I'm here now, and I'm glad to be on the show. And we're gonna debate and have some fun with it, and that's what I'm here for. So excited.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there. Despite what people might tell me, or I don't really listen to what anyone tells me. To be honest with you, I kind of do my own thing. But I respect that you're trying to make it a name for yourself, and that you've dedicated a lot of time to your channel, both YouTube and your Instagram, which is Muscle Discord, in case people don't know. And so that's why I brought you on the show. And when someone has a very strong, impassioned opinion on something, I like to give them at least a voice to debate. And I'm glad that you decided to come on a debate, because after all, look, we're all on the same team, and we all want, we want to support the industry. At least I hope that's your goal. It seems
that's the goal. Yes. Yeah.
And so it's conversation is good. You see it in politics, whereas a lot Republicans, Democrats won't give each other they won't talk together. And everyone wants a happy, peaceful world, but yet everyone wants to fight with each other. So I think it's good that we're discussing, even if we're on opposite sides of the coin today. All right, let's get to it. But today's topic is ChatGPT and the use of it in judging. And you can give us, I'll let you talk about it for a second. How did you even decide to try to start asking ChatGPT to judge a show?
Well, it's just when we have these controversial calls in bodybuilding, which we're all used to. And I was like, there's got to be a way that we can kind of hold the judges accountable for these calls that just seem out of whack, that 90% of the people that are watching the show don't agree with. And so, I was like, well, let me just throw these photos into ChatGPT and see what it thinks. And it did it, and then analyzed some photos that I put in from a show. And it was the opposite of what the judges thought.
And what show are you referring to?
So I've done the Masters. Actually, it wasn't the Masters first. It was Nick Walker versus Derek Lunsford at the Pittsburgh Pro. That was a controversial call, very close show. A lot of people had Nick Walker winning. And so I put that one in first, and it had Nick Walker winning 6 poses to 2 over Derek Lunsford. I was like, holy shit, okay, this is right? And so I just kept going with it. And then I did the Masters. Obviously, you've had a lot to say about Phil Klehar and the Masters and the decision that was made there with, Dorian Haywood being in third at prejudging and then launching into first place in less than a few hours. It is what it is. But we can go back and forth on that. But, I used it for that as well. And ChatGPT gave me the analysis that Phil was the winner of that one. And then I did the Europa Pro Show with Urs and Quinton. Okay. What I did is I took the screenshots of the live stream right after prejudging, put that into ChatGPT 5. ChatGPT picked Urs as the winner, clearly winning that show, 6-2 poses over Quinton. Finals came along, exactly what ChatGPT predicted. It was correct. Same thing with the France Pro. Right after prejudging, before there's any decision made, okay, no one knew who Sergey was, okay? There's no ChatGPT's not scouring the internet trying to find out who's the most popular guy and it'll pick that guy as the first place. None of that shit. It just analyzes the photos, picks Sergey as the winner over Quinton, and that's exactly what happened at finals. So it debunks this whole idea, and I'm sorry to cut you off. It
No,
debunks this whole idea. But Ron Harris was like, well, it just picks the most popular guy and it uses data from the internet and social media. And this, no, fuck that shit. That doesn't happen. Okay. So I just want to put that out there, that why not leverage the power of AI? Fortune 500 companies are leveraging the power of AI to help with their sales force, to help with their customer service force. Why can't we leverage this for bodybuilding and help take some of the speculation out of it and help hold the judges accountable? They don't have to take over the judging panel. AI doesn't have to take over the judging panel, but they can cross-reference and see, okay, well, let's get a second opinion on what's AI showing us here. Oh, okay, this guy's in first. Okay, and work with it, leverage it, improve bodybuilding, help bodybuilding be better again.
Let me ask you a question. Now, you had mentioned that you think in the future that that this would be incorporated as a regular type of judging criteria, and we're going to get into ChatGPT in a minute.
Okay.
How come the judges never incorporated instant replay? Instant replay has been around for how long? I mean, this is an easy technology that they could employ. If they're not sure of a judging decision, why not employ instant replay?
Instant replay, live scoring, right prejudging, they can start
I
putting
don't
up.
think. I don't think live score is good, but actually instant replay. Go back and look at the things, to pick the video, the footage, and assess. Did we make the right decision?
I mean, it could do that. I don't know if it would be counterintuitive to have that at a live show where you're stopping and you're. So is the audience just waiting for the judges to kind of replay it and kind of talk amongst themselves, or like how will that?
Would you think that would be a good technology to employ if it was possible?
If they were like really stuck on some competitors and like, it's close, we don't know. If it was close, yeah, maybe roll it back. If they have high quality video to look at and do it real time on the spot and take a couple minutes to do it. Yeah, I could see that being
So
okay.
you think that would be a valid use of like technology?
Anything to make it better, anything to make it more clear. If there's any backlash, well, we looked at the replay, we analyzed these guys, and we really saw that this guy actually looked better here, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They do it in football.
Don't you think that's what happens from prejudging to finals?
That
When decisions change, like maybe people say, maybe we should take another look at this because.
well, that's what they do. I mean, that's the whole reason why they're having finals, is to kind of rejudge them. But hey, some of these shows at the IPP Pro League level, they're not even judging the finals. That's why. Did you ever notice when you see the scores, it's the same score from the finals, from the because they don't have enough time.
Sometimes it's clear cut. That's why. Sometimes.
Sometimes they're just not judging the finals at some of these shows, which is weird, and it's not really fair. Some pro shows they're judging the finals, and some pro shows they're not. I don't know why they do that. Why have finals?
I don't know why we only see some. These usually in these European shows, but there's not a lot of judges. But my point is that the finals, if it's pretty clear cut the winner, a lot of times it doesn't change. But if it is close, that's kind of like an instant replay, right? You're going back and you're reassessing. So is it possible that and listen, I am a Phil Clahar fan because I used to coach him.
Yes, that's why we
have a relationship. I have a friend. This has nothing to do with my friendship or how I feel about Phil and what I think about his physique and his work ethic, because it's amazing. What I'm saying is that the judges, obviously, after prejudging, it wasn't sitting well with them who they picked, because let's face it wasn't the best quality show, right? I mean, as much as I like Phil and Dorian and all those guys, it wasn't like the Olympia. It was guys that were that are.
It's the best quality that was there at the time with what they had to work with. Yeah,
that makes it harder to judge a lot of times, because when guys all look great, you can kind of put them up against each other and you can make a decision. So is it possible that the judges said, we got to take a look at this, and at finals they changed their mind?
That's what they did, but was it the right call? And then okay, so then
you and I were not there.
We were not there. Good. I was about to address that.
See himself on stage, so he's of course going to pick. He's going to want to win the show. I don't blame him.
Yeah. So we had I had some guests on the show. Fred Biggie Smalls. He competed right next to. He was in the top 10 of the Masters. Got Walter Martin. He was there. They all said, "Man, Phil looks ridiculous backstage." Yeah, they're on stage, but they said even you can see. When you go backstage, Dave.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I'm going to be honest with you. Backstage, and you could ask any of the guys that I competed with, backstage people would stare at me. They were terrified of me because I was the biggest guy. Remember, back in the 90s, early 2000s, there were no guys competing at 270, at my height. So I was the biggest guy, and I was the hardest guy backstage. And I looked like I could win the Olympia backstage.
Yeah.
But on stage, my structural, flaws were exposed by the guys with better symmetry. So, but backstage, I was terrifying looking. And Phil is impressive up close because he gets very lean. I think that he was a little downsized from behind, especially in the glutes and hamstrings. And I think that's what hurt him. I think Dorian was a little more complete there. But once again, I wasn't there in the front row. But I'm going to tell you something. Steve Weinberger, who's the head judge there, is the best judge in bodybuilding. Jim Mannion was right up there too when Jim used to judge because they have so much experience. And I'm going to tell you how good he is. Back in the 90s or in the early 2000s when at the 2003 USA, Chris Cook and I were battling for first place. And I trained at Steve's gym, but Steve and I were not on the best of terms at the time. For whatever reason, I don't know, there was it was just tension between us.
Yeah.
And at that show, for a bunch of shows, they were posting all the judges' scores, which I think they should still do. Like in other words, each judge would see how you ranked each person. So it wasn't just the total of all the judges combined. You actually saw each judge, and they would eliminate the top two and the low two scores. They throw those out. And Steve Weinberg had me first at that show. So, and because he is that good of a judge. And I had a friend who was judging who had me fourth who told me that my color wasn't good. Okay? For whatever that means. Okay. But my point is that Steve is that good of a judge and he's that honest. He does not care what the political arena is. He judges what he sees. And if it wouldn't have been Steve Weinberger at that show, I would have said, well, maybe some funky stuff went on there in Japan, but he would never allow that to go on there. So I truly believe that was scored accurately, and I don't think anyone had a vested interest. And if someone didn't like Phil Klahar for whatever reason that he mouthed off, a couple years earlier, he wouldn't have been invited to the show. It was an invite show.
Well, obviously he was second or third the year before the last time he was at Masters, so he's in there. Of course, I think they would invite him back.
They could have just put him fifth place. And they would have had him first after prejudging.
I see what you're saying there with regard to Steve and his judging. Obviously, he's been doing this for 50 years. He's got he's the most experienced judge in the league. Okay, but do you not think there is politics in judging? Do you not think the judges?
Yes, okay. I think there's politics in judging, but I don't think there's politics in judging the Masters Olympia because no one cares really about. Well,
and that maybe that's what's.
There's no implications. There's no marketing implications of that.
If Steve had a little tiff with Klahar with what he was saying, and he was like, you know what, he has the power to do that.
He never would have been first after prejudging.
What better way to stick it to Phil to make him think he's about to win the show and then to pull it?
That's not Steve. If you know Steve, he's such a straight shooter. He might take it out and he might tell you off backstage if he doesn't like what you say, but he'll never take it out.
Well, I'll tell you that. He has called me. He called me when he had Nathan D'Asher on the show.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a happy camper.
No,
I'll tell you that much.
Because Steve will open his mouth if you say something that he doesn't like. He's called me and told me off.
So I'm just taking his character into play there when I see how he is, and I go, okay, I can see this guy. Maybe he might take a little bit personal with some of this shit.
Yeah, he doesn't allow it to cloud his judgment vision.
Okay.
Right. Having said that,
we can go back all day. That's been talked about.
Let's get back to ChatGPT. Because you put it into ChatGPT. Now, first of all, here's one of my problems with ChatGPT. Before we get into
I want to know your side. Yeah.
All right, there's a couple of problems with it. Number one is that you're feeding one person or two people into it, so it's got a 50% chance of being right. I wanted to make sure you get full context. It's four people. It's the top four that I put in. It knows if ChatGPT knows if there's two people in the middle, it's between those two people.
It doesn't. Okay? I'm not sure about that.
It knows.
How? Okay, Dave. How does it know?
Because there's information on the internet that
this is prejudging. This is after prejudging.
It does.
See, you're trying to think that
the two guys
doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
If you want to impress me with ChatGPT, take all the competitors in the whole lineup and feed in every single call out, and then if it picks the winner, I'm way more impressed.
I can easily do that. It will still pick the winner.
You have not done that. You have not done that.
I put the top 5 and top 4 in, and it picks the winner out of that.
It doesn't matter.
Why doesn't that matter?
The judges pick the top 5.
Just because so you're telling me because there's it doesn't just because. What does that even mean then? Of course, if your son knows what he's doing and he knows how to look at these guys.
Look, once the head judge lines up everyone in first, second, they're in the right order already.
So the photos that I uploaded, Quentin was actually on the very side, And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. That has no bearing on what the emphasis of how it picks the person, Dave.
In the French,
That's weird. I don't understand where you're getting that from. That's your defense. Is that you can't pick from these perfect.
It's a 1 in 2 chance. It's a 1 in 2 chance.
Dave. I put four. There's four. I put the top four into it.
Yeah.
So it already
I
debunks
want to
your.
see the picture you loaded in it because in the pictures I saw of the comparisons,
It's all done live. I did it live. I'll send you the clips. You can see it. I did it real time, right? I put it.
Yeah, as the clips came out, you took the screenshot.
Yes, it's all documented. It's all documented. This ain't no fucking funky shit I'm doing here. This is
lined up. They're lined up already.
So because there's 4 human beings in front of ChatGPT, it knows which one that's going to win.
No, it's a
without analyzing its physique. And you know what ChatGPT does? It also breaks down why that person's winning.
Did you read one of the guys on your Instagram? I'll pull this up. Who's an engineer who works with AI actually explained how ChatGPT works.
San?
This guy, Juma.
Yeah, Jama. Yeah, he doesn't know what. Yeah, and make sure you go down and read my reply to him.
Well, I read the whole thing, but he's like, it's not a bait. He just doesn't get what's happening at the low level. It simply breaks pixels into numbers, turns them into patterns and matches those patterns to stored concepts to decide. In my job, and then he goes on to talk about his job, but it's not really looking at the picture.
So David,
it's looking at shapes. It's looking at shapes. Listen,
how does it pick the winner after prejudging?
It's got a 1 in 2 chance. You're not giving it. Put the whole lineup in there and then let it pick.
No,
the winner.
I'll do that. I'll do that because I've already done that. I've done it with the top 5.
Do it.
Let's
see. But you can't. The problem is, if it already has analyzed the show, I don't know if that data is then stored.
It's prejudging. It's literally, I did it right after prejudging.
You got to do it for a new show. You can't go back and do a show that you might.
No, I was doing this live stream. I do a watch. It's a live stream.
I mean, you got to put everyone's picture in there because you can't do an elimination because then the judges are doing some of the work for ChatGPT. It's not the same thing. Now, let me explain where the shortcoming of ChatGPT is. No. There's an intangible to judging, and the intangible is the emotionality of what's going on. Because when competitors are close and the show is almost impossible to pick, there's something called presentation. There's something called tan, There's something called charisma. Those variables are something that ChatGPT does not understand. And that is a big influencer of judging. I can tell you that Flex Wheeler had weaknesses, but I've never seen a person present his physique better than he did at hiding those weaknesses and extenuating or showing off his strengths to the greatest of his ability. And there are certain competitors that just can show it. Look at Paul Dillette. On paper, ChatGPT would probably say he was Mr. Olympia. But the guy couldn't pose his way out of a paper bag. And no disrespect, Paul, I know we're friends. But he was a terrible poser, and it ruined his ability to win the big shows. So how does ChatGPT take that into account?
Do you want me to share my screen? I have a ChatGPT all lined up here. I can share it and show the people how it picked it.
Put Paul Dillette and Dorian Yates.
Well, here, I'll share this. I'll show you, and then we'll do it here. Let me move this up here. Then we'll go through this. I'll analyze it for you.
There's intangibles that ChatGPT will never be able to handle because it's not human.
Okay. Can you see that? Can the people see that?
No, we don't see your screen. No, we just see you.
I'm sharing it, but I guess it's not.
No, it's not showing up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I'll stop sharing. Anyways, it would have been perfect because it would have shown. But anyways.
Well, what do you explain what you're trying to share?
So basically, I'm just using the France Pro. Okay. Yeah. And I have it's Roberto. Okay, it's Quentin, Sergey, and Hassan. Okay, and it just is the top 4. Okay, I uploaded those images, all the mandatories that they're doing. ChatGPT put Sergey in first, and I'll tell you what it's saying. Okay, it's breaking down.
Is it this picture? Is this one of the pictures?
It's not that. That's just the top 2, but it has one of them with 4 in it, right? So that's not.
Are they both in the middle like that?
They're in the middle,
Okay.
on that one. Okay.
So
And
ChatGPT knows that those two guys are in
okay.
the middle. So
Okay.
they're 1 and 2.
Yeah. It's not ChatGPT didn't have Quentin in second, it had him in third.
Yeah. Okay.
So that debunks your
You know
whole
what?
thing.
You know what? Once again, I wasn't there, so I
Yeah.
don't like to judge. But I will tell you, I felt that Quentin should have won that show. I don't think I like Sergey's conditioning and mass, but I don't like his structure at all. I don't think that he deserved to win that show. Personally, I think Quentin was not given what he should have been given, and so I don't agree with ChatGPT in that sense. I didn't judge the show though, so and I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't have. There wasn't a lot of people that were
Who was
against
the head
Sergey
judge of that
winning.
show? think
I
it was
don't know. I don't. I
something
didn't.
like that? Was it
I don't know who the head judge was.
It wasn't Steve Weinberg.
It wasn't Steve.
I guarantee
No.
if Steve Weinberg was there, I bet you that wouldn't have been the same decision. But,
Well, hey, Quentin hasn't won a show yet, though,
Right.
and so I mean, right? He's getting beat by guys that are harder and more dense than him. And again, Sergey was harder. He was more conditioned, and he was more dense than Quentin. And his structure isn't that bad.
Quentin had glutes, and had a
Yeah,
much
but he
better
wasn't
back.
full. He needs to be full. He looked flattened out. He wasn't popping, and so when that's what the judges saw, and they gave Sergey straight first. So I mean, are you saying the judges are wrong, or are they?
I'm
they
saying
were there.
that-
They were in the front row. So
I'm saying that judging decision was not good.
okay,
I didn't
All
feel
right.
it was good. But once again, I wasn't there, so I don't.
Yeah.
I would never say the judges were wrong because I wasn't there. If I was there, I would have a much stronger opinion on it, obviously. And
Yeah.
there have been decisions I have not agreed with over the years,
And that's why I'm trying to bring in ChatGPT. That's why I'm trying to bring in AI to help with
But
this.
see, the problem is that it's analyzing angles and this. It's not
Yeah.
really looking at physiques.
That's what it's good at.
I had ChatGPT analyze my physique. I uploaded a picture,
Okay.
and then I had it analyze a show that I did, and the analysis was exactly the same. Okay, which tells me it even used the same sentences, so it's pulling data from somewhere, and it's using the same data when analyzing the same competitors, and I think that might be a shortcoming of ChatGPT. And once again, I'm not saying it can't analyze, proportion and all that stuff. The problem once again is that there is an intangible aspect of presentation, coloring
Yes.
for women.
Yes.
Beauty,
And you can
hair and
prompt
makeup.
ChatGPT to say, hey, factor in the color of the tan, the posing. This is like the begin. I'm just taking screenshots, and at prejudging, it's already picking the winner before the judges finish.
Yeah, but
Dave, you have to admit that's pretty fucking crazy that ChatGPT is picking the winner before the judges even pick the winner.
It's picking between two people.
No, it's not. It's picking between.
50-50 chance.
And it's still, Dave, come
that
on.
doesn't impress me. If you fed the whole lineup
Jesus.
in there, okay, I would be impressed. In other words,
You got to get with the times, man.
don't do
AI is here.
comparisons.
You cannot. You got to get with the times, Dave. With AI, man.
This is-
Don't keep bodybuilding in the dark ages here, Dave. We gotta get with the times here.
There's no one that's more progressive and who has evolved more.
You know what,
I've been
Dave? You're
around
right.
longer
You're
than
right,
anyone.
Dave. You have this great ideas. You're always trying to put these new ideas, and I think, why isn't Dave in on this AI thing? It's such a good fucking idea.
I don't think a computer can judge better than a human being. That's why. And I think that
Can a computer can AI solve a complex math equation in 2 seconds versus a human?
But this is not a math.
It's a lot. Okay, I don't know.
There's a level of aesthetics. There's a level of something.
I get it. And it's measuring that. It's measuring the symmetry of the athlete, the proportion of the athlete, the muscle size, the condition. It can takes all that into consideration. It's picking the right winner all the time.
Why do you think? No, it doesn't. Why do you think
It has.
Why do you think there's not a point system in bodybuilding that the judges just check boxes? This point, it's this many points for this many points for that. How come they don't do that? Do you know why?
Well, okay.
I
Why?
can tell you why. Because I know. Because I talk to to people who judge.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work. Someone can check all the boxes and the right things, and they don't look like the winner on stage. You know why? Because either they're not presenting properly, there's something not right about how they look, and only a human being could pick out that discrepancy between checking the boxes, presentation, and why they don't mesh together.
So you're bringing in the factor of presentation, okay, which is a factor in judging, okay? And ChatGPT is not going to catch all those things, okay? It's not going to catch when Nick Walker's midsection is hanging out in the middle and he's breathing heavy.
That's the problem.
It's not going to catch those things.
Exactly.
But this is the beginning. I'm just uploading photos and it's already getting it right. Wait till you
this is
upload
dangerous.
video into it.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous, and I'll tell you why. Because it's never going to have it right. And
It's already got right, Tyler.
no, but it's not getting it right. It's a 50-50 chance.
It's
Come
not
on, that's a
50-50. It's none of
guess.
this 50-50, Dave.
It is a
That's not how it's
50-50.
working at all.
You have not uploaded the whole lineup in. You've only
I've uploaded the top four.
top
I do the top
call-outs
4, top
with the
5
two-
into it.
with the top two guys standing in the middle.
And it didn't even put the second guy, which you're saying should have got second or
But it was
first
wrong.
or second.
It was wrong.
It put Hassan in second.
Quinton was the winner in my mind, and he certainly wasn't any worse than second. Would you agree?
It could have went.
Would you agree?
Either could have. Of course, Quinton looks good. Was ChatGPT correct with Hassan?
So ChatGPT actually got it wrong by putting him third. So it might have got the winner right, but he got the second place guy wrong. So
Based on the
50-50. It's 1 for 1 on that show, according to what you're
it's
explaining.
Dave. You can't even deny how fucking good this technology is for implementing into the judging system. It's unbelievable that they would not want to use this in the future to help them cross-reference when they're judging these athletes.
They don't need it. That's why they have a pre-judging in finals.
Yeah, but they don't always get it right, Dave. They don't always get it right.
Yeah, but
Okay, and we know that. We
they
know
don't
that.
always get it right because the judging panel liked a particular physique over another particular.
Yeah, because there's bias that comes in there.
Let's say they use ChatGPT or whatever the latest artificial intelligence to help them judge. Okay.
Yes,
what
that's
if
it.
ChatGPT says to them, "I don't agree with you"? Is that going to override the judging decision?
They're going to have to figure out how they want to implement it. Okay, they're going to have some standards
You
of how
wanna
to
make
implement it.
You want to make ChatGPT 50% of your score?
It could be. It could be.
No.
It's way more advanced than the human mind. I'm telling you that right now.
With all the hard work that you would do as a bodybuilder to get in shape and suffer, and the drugs you got to take and everything you got to do, and the sacrifice and the tanning and the presentation.
Yeah, I don't want some favoritism judge that. What about these judges that are trainers with these athletes and they're like all this? There's so much conflict of interest when it comes to judging. It's fucking pathetic, Dave. Come on.
I don't want
that. It eliminates all that bullshit.
I don't want a computer judge.
I would rather have that judge me than a biased judge judge me.
No, but no one wants a biased judge. And
it happens. It happens all the time in bodybuilding.
And they've gotten rid of those judges before. There's a lot.
Oh well, hopefully they did. I don't know. Is that on the record? I don't know.
But there have been names. There's plenty of people that they have gotten rid of on the judging panel.
You got judges that are business partners with these people on stage that they're judging. It's ridiculous.
No, you know what? I think
so I'm just trying to clean up the sport, man, and make it this more fair.
You're not going to clean it up with ChatGPT. It's unfortunate.
Well, we'll see what happens in the future.
I think would make a better thing would be to do what they used to do and post every judge's score so that a judge is accountable for who they chose. And
I would like to see that.
This way, if someone put the guy who won fourth, he's going to have to explain him. He's going to have some splaining to do, as Ricky Ricardo would say.
Yeah.
And
all I want is transparency.
I want accountability.
Yes.
I don't want a computer.
Accountability and transparency is what we need in this sport. It's 2025. There's no need to be this secretive about the judging, and just keep it real. The fans want it. They keep asking for it, yet the judges in the pro league don't do it. So I don't know. Maybe they will. I love what Tyler Mannion is doing with the recaps and doing that. That wasn't done in the past. It's awesome that he's doing that. So that's a kind of a new modern thing that's happening, and there's improvements. So I do see the pro league trying to make improvements and better the sport that way. But moving forward, there's a possibility to take advantage of ChatGPT or AI, whichever software they want to use, and implement it.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna
happen. Just like anything that's new, people are like, oh, that Bitcoin, what's that Bitcoin? And boom, look where it is now, 15 years later, right? It's like you never know.
People never understood why they had prejudging and finals, and this is the reason they have it, because they sometimes make a mistake because it goes fast. They're not sure. This way they can have a look. Nowadays they can go back and look at the video and the pictures, and they can say, you know what? Maybe we didn't get it right. Let's look at these guys again at the finals, and then they do a finals round, call out, and it changes. And so there is a built-in system there that can save a bad decision. Now,
and 98% of the time the judges, I think, get it right. There's always that one or two controversial calls throughout the year, like, well, what the fuck, that doesn't make no sense.
The problem with AI is that if AI disagrees with the judging and they're using AI, then it becomes who's right. And now the fans are going to say, well, the people who wanted the guy who AI picked to win is going to say AI's right, and the people who wanted the other guy to win are going to say the judges are right.
I think, good. Yeah, you're right. You're right. These are things that are going to, it would have to be discussed and figured out. It's not, this is just me and you kind of going at it. It's going to be a process if anything like this was ever implemented, of course. And you're making valid points too.
I have another question because I know you like to be a little bit of a shit stirrer out
Yes.
there. Look, and
I got questions for you too.
Yeah, okay, and that's fine. I've stirred plenty of shit in that.
I know.
I usually have very valid reasons for doing it, but
Yeah.
and believe me, no one's been victimized more. And I can go into the good thing is that I'm still around, and all the victimizers who victimized me are gone.
Yes.
So I outlasted them, and I'm still in very.
You're still here.
I'm still here, and I'm in good standing. Because I think at the end of the day, the powers that be who run our sport realize that I'm here to defend the sport, and I don't have any negative or any kind of agendas that I'm trying to take down the sport. Sometimes, you can go too far if you're not helping the sport. And there's a lot of disenfranchised people out there who don't like their decisions, and it seems like your site is becoming almost like a house for them to run to and talk about all the terrible things that were done to them. And unfortunately, what happens is you become, as soon as you associate yourself and give them a voice, and then you defend them, you become the guy that wants to just be an outlaw, essentially, rather than try to support the right decisions versus the wrong decisions. Okay. You understand the problem?
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm looked at as a shit disturber, and I know Steve and them aren't happy with some of the things I've been doing and letting people come on the show and talk about the judging and whatnot. But I mean, I think the athletes deserve a voice, and that's all I'm doing when I have athletes. I had William Bonek on the show. He wasn't happy with it. Like, I'm just letting these guys vent and talk about their experiences, and the judges aren't perfect. The league isn't perfect. There's room for improvement. And that's what I'm advocating for, is improvement. It's just better systems and procedures and protocols for these athletes to have a better experience, because they do complain a lot, right? And then some of them are afraid to talk about it because they do talk about it. They'll be punished on stage. And that's why, again, AI would be perfect to eliminate the bias. When you talk shit about a judge, or you said, I should have won that show, well, then that judge could potentially screw you over the next show. Yeah. You cannot say that doesn't happen, because it's just human nature. Shit happens.
I've been, by other people's admission, screwed over many times in my.
That must suck. All the hard work you do, and then you get screwed over by a judge.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I never complained about it, and I'll tell you why. Because bodybuilding, at the end of the day, is a beauty pageant. I know that. It's not a who crosses the finish line. When I was a runner, if I crossed the finish line first, I won. It didn't matter if I was an asshole, if people liked me, or if they liked the way I looked. It didn't matter. But bodybuilding is a beauty pageant, okay? At the end of the day, so there's a panel of judges that are deciding whether they think you're more beautiful than the next person. Now, in bodybuilding, it happens to be muscle, size, conditioning, presentation, all that stuff. Yeah. So I never complained. And it's funny because J.M. Mannion, who's Jim Mannion, MPP president's son, came up to me after the 2003 USA, which I talked about earlier, and he said, my son, now his son Tyler, who now is the vice president, at the time was like 12 or something like that. I don't even know what he was. He was a teenager. And he said, Tyler said that you should have won the show. I said, well, I'm glad that your son decided. I wish he was on
there you go.
Battle. But, so, I mean, a lot of people came up to me and thought I should have won. And you know what? I was upset that I didn't win, obviously, because I thought that was my best look I had brought to the stage. Probably was, to this day, the best look I brought to the stage. But it wasn't that. And look, I could have gone. I had a big mouthpiece. I could have gone and complained. I never complained ever about, like, this, I got screwed, and this judge is an ass. I never did that, because that's a poor sport, okay? And you know what? When you give poor sports a vehicle to complain, okay, you're associating yourself with these poor sports. Now, does it mean that Phil got screwed or didn't get screwed? He might have got screwed. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe he did get screwed. But he's being a sore loser about it. And instead of saying, you know what, whatever the case may be, the judges didn't like me on that day, he's crying about the fact that he thinks he got he was persecuted for whatever he might have said last year. and you get, but by giving him that vehicle to complain, you're now being associated with that, and I think that takes away the positive aspects of what you're doing, which is probably 80% of what you're doing is positive.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I don't think Phil's being a poor sport. I get what you're saying and the point you're trying to make. I just think he's expressing how he feels, which he has the right to
He's
do.
frustrated. He wanted to win the show.
Exactly.
I don't blame him.
Okay, and when he has all the other athletes that were up on stage with him saying, "Man, you should have won." You have a lot of the people in the industry saying he should have won, and they were there with him, yes, but there were also other people that had him winning, and so it's just like, I get it. It didn't make sense what happened at that show. Okay, it's pretty clear. There's also in the 212 division with Hide Yamagishi, he got second. Now what about that? What about that, Dave? What's going on there?
You know, I have never.
What the fuck is going on there? Come on. There you go. What the hell? How did he get second? Right? Like, I mean, come on. This is what I'm trying to put out in front, that this shit does happen. Okay, it's not just in the open. It was also 212 that was some bullshit going on.
All right. Let's. But did you see who won? Who was third in the 212?
I can't remember who's third, but I just know that.
But I don't see him going around complaining that. Right? He's not going on Instagram.
I won't say it, but hey, I got contacted by people that were not happy that were in the show.
Yeah, okay.
Said, how the fuck did I? And even Bodybuilders Without Borders talked about it. Said, this is bullshit. How the fuck did Hyde get second? Are you kidding me? He should have been retired a long time. Like, he didn't. He was not the Hide of the past. Let me tell you that much. Even Steve was like, I think he needs to be done here. But it sounded like he was just giving him a gift, a farewell gift, that putting him in. It was just bad. It's a bad look. That's what I'm trying to eliminate. Just make things better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's fine, but I don't think complaining and crying and saying you're being.
I don't think he was complaining. He was just pointing out the truth. Like what the fuck? Third to first? They had me first across the board, and then
about what happened
2 hours later, and he didn't fall apart. He didn't fall apart. He did not fall apart. He had some rice and steak, and then came back an hour and a half later and competed. And it's like, oh, he fell apart.
Maybe Steve Weinberg went back to his room and put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, you know what? I don't think Phil deserved to win, and you know, maybe put it into Grok over there on.
He definitely didn't do that. And what about the second place?
Maybe Grok thought that Dorian Haywood was better. And so
what about the second place guy? What about Domenico? Right? That guy was a fucking ultra shredded. He was the most shredded guy in the class. And then Dorian surpasses that guy.
Not there. I was
bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. Whatever.
I trust Steve Weinberg as judge.
Yeah.
Whether I like him as not as a person doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I don't have any.
It happens, man. They can screw people over when they want to do it. That was one of the shows they did it. I'm going to stick by that. I'll go to the grave with that one.
My point is that over the years, I've criticized everything that I thought was not true. Okay.
Yeah, you have. You've been very outspoken.
I'm not smelling any rotten apples here. Okay. Because the show is not that important.